Hey guys, just wanted to give you a quick look at the new item type editor. So part of Platformer Pro 2.0 will be to have a full RPG style item system, including inventories, weapons that can add damage, all that kind of stuff. So this is the interface for editing the item type data. So I'm just going to load up some data. So we've got a coin item here. We can attach sprites and things to that too, which I haven't done at the moment, but basically there's different types of items. So a coin is a non-inventory item, so basically it has its own stack, and you can hold up to 99 of them. It doesn't have a slot, so you can't wield it, but if, for example, it was a weapon, you could put it in the weapon slot. It's basically got zeros for the other stats because it's just coins. If we go to food, for example, it's a normal item, which means it stacks in an inventory. You can hold a very large amount of them, but each slot in your inventory can only hold 10. So if you have an inventory with 10 slots, the maximum you could hold would be 100 because you'd have 10 stacks of 10. We've got a sword here. So the sword is similar, it can stack in your inventory, but this one can go into the weapons slot. It's got a damage multiplier, and what will happen is the attacks will automatically multiply their base damage by the bronze sword's damage. It's also a good time to point out the custom properties. So you can add any other property. Let's say we add a property named animation, and we put, let's call it animation override. And then we can put the put a value in there, so for example bronze, and then we can use this in our own code to basically say, find me the item in the weapon slot and tell me what the value of the animation override is. And you can use that to drive animation. So for example, you may play a different slash animation when you're holding a bronze sword as opposed to a gold sword. So we might add that property here as well, and we'd call it gold. We can also attach object values, integer values, and float values. Items like weapons, so things that can go into slots, have a durability. So when a weapon hits an enemy, the durability goes down, and after the durability hits 0, it's destroyed. Or you can click a button and maybe our gold sword is unbreakable. There's a few other types of items. There's a unique item. So a unique item means you can only have one of them. They can't stack, you can't get multiples. And there's also an instant item, so instead of going to your inventory, an instant item is consumed. So we've got food here that could go in your inventory, but you might add a new item. Let's say heart. And it's instant, which means it instantly heals you. So this interface was actually developed for one of the customer, who was using it in their game with the damage multipliers, speed multipliers, and so on and so forth. So that's all sort of hooked up and already working. I'll probably add some more properties. So something like food, for example, I might make that have its own built-in stat instead of, at the moment, you would have to create a custom stat like this, and you would have to implement the healing yourself. It'd only be a couple of lines of code, but I'll probably extend this base set of stats like level, price, durability, and so on to include a few more general properties to make it even easier to set up your RPG-like platformer game. Of course, coming with this also will be inventories, so that will be a couple of options. I'll include an action bar, I'll include a simple inventory, which is kind of 2 or 3 items with no ability to move them around, kind of like you might find in old platform games, and then I'll include the full RPG style inventory where you can actually put items in slots and drag them around. A lot of that code is already done from another project as well, so I've just got to pull it into Platformer Pro, set up the samples, and then get it all released. So that's just one of the new systems coming with Platformer Pro 2.0.